Welcome back. Today we're going to be replacing our pressure reducing valve, or PRV, and ultimately our temperature and pressure relief valve, or TMP valve. We first started noticing something wasn't right with our water pressure. Whenever we turned on a faucet, we were getting some pretty strange pressure changes. Then we noticed water leaking from the TMP valve, which was a pretty good indication that something was wrong. It could just be the TMP valve, but given the other symptoms, I decided to order a Watts pressure gauge from Amazon to see exactly what our water pressure was doing. You can attach the gauge to a spigot or washer hookup. The gauge also has a red maximum pressure indicator. It stays at the highest pressure the gauge reaches, so we can see if there are any pressure spikes. Wow, look at that pressure spike. It actually buried the red indicator before settling at around 140 PSI. That's nearly double the recommended pressure. Now I know for sure the PRV needs to be replaced. Now let's take a look at the tools and supplies we'll need for this job. We have Blue Monster pipe goop, Blue Monster thread tape, 2 pipe wrenches, and our replacement PRV, which I actually got a really good deal on from eBay. Now that we have everything, we can get to work. Turn off main water supply. Flip breaker to water heater. Open a nearby faucet. Place a bucket underneath the PRV because even after draining the pressure, there's still going to be some water left in the line. To remove the valve, I'm using 2 pipe wrenches. One wrench holds the PRV itself so it doesn't twist or put stress on the plumbing, while I use the other wrench to loosen the compression nut. One thing I definitely recommend before starting this job is finding the exact replacement for the valve you already have. I was able to find the same model, which makes this job a whole lot easier. I can simply remove the old valve and install the new one without having to cut any pipe, solder anything, or modify the existing plumbing. That's going to save a lot of time and makes this a much more manageable DIY project. Before installing the new valve, let's compare it to the old one. The tag gives us some important information, including the connection size, the pressure rating, and the model number. This information will help you when ordering a replacement. Both sides of the valve has an O-ring. This is also where I realized my replacement kit didn't come with new O-rings. I really don't like reusing seals like these, but since I don't have new ones, we're going to carefully remove them and reuse them. Just be gentle with them because we don't want to damage them. I am using a little pick, but I've covered the tip with painter's tape. I'm just gently going around the edges until it releases and I can slide it off. Before transferring the O-rings to the new valve, I'm going to put a small amount of silicone grease on them. This helps lubricate the O-rings as they slide into place and helps prevent them from getting damaged or pinched during installation. Now I'm applying a thin layer of Blue Monster pipe goop to the threads on both sides of the new valve. This will help seal the threaded connections and prevent leaks once we pressurize the system. Now it's time to install the new PRV. Before tightening everything down, make sure the arrow on the valve is pointing in the direction of water flow. In our case, the water is flowing up from below the PRV, but yours might be horizontal. Now we can put the new PRV in place. Start by hand tightening both nuts to make sure everything is lined up properly. Once they're snug, use your 2 pipe wrenches to tighten the connections down. Remember to hold the valve with one wrench while tightening the nut with the other, so you're not putting unnecessary stress on the plumbing. Slowly turn the main water supply back on. I like to open it gradually so we're not suddenly putting full pressure on the new valve and the rest of the plumbing. Once the water's back on, we'll check all of our connections for leaks before moving on. Now I'm going to reinstall the Watts pressure gauge so we can see what the new PRV is doing. And there it is. Our water pressure is right around 50 PSI, exactly where we want it. That's a pretty big improvement from the 140 PSI we saw before replacing the valve. 50 PSI is good, but I'd like to increase our pressure to 60 PSI. To adjust the PRV, first loosen the locking nut on the front of the valve, then turn the adjustment bolt clockwise to increase the pressure. I'm going to give it about 3 or 4 turns, and then we'll check the gauge again to see where we landed. Most homes operate somewhere around 50 to 70 PSI. You can increase the pressure for better flow, but the higher you go, the more stress you're putting on your plumbing, fixtures, and appliances. Now let's head back outside and check our pressure one more time. And there it is, sitting right at 60 PSI. That's exactly where I wanted it. So our pressure problem is fixed, but unfortunately, the T&P valve is still leaking and is going to need to be replaced as well. I think the extreme pressure may have caused it to fail, but either way, we know our water pressure is now right where it needs to be. If you want to see how to replace a leaking T and P valve, check out my other videos where I walk through that process. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please take a second to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow along for more real-world DIY projects and repairs. I've also put links to the products and tools I used in this video down in the description. Some of those are Amazon affiliate links, which means I may earn a small commission if you make a purchase through one of my links, at no additional cost to you. I really appreciate you supporting me and my family. And remember, instructions might be optional, but research isn't. If I recommend a product, it's because I've either used it myself or researched it enough to feel comfortable recommending it. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.